Stocks post a strong close on Wall Street. Nasdaq hits a record high, gaining for the 7th week in the last 8. Stocks in the Asia-Pacific trade mixed. Japan's Nikkei continues to surge, crossing the 40,000 mark. The GIFT Nifty indicates a flat start for the Indian market. Crude prices rally to hover around $84 a barrel. Saudi Arabia, Russia and other OPEC members extend voluntary production cuts until the end of June. Gold hits a 2-month high, while the rally in cryptocurrencies also continues. The Financial Intelligence Unit hits Paytm Payments Bank with a 5 crore rupee fine for violating its obligations under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. This after the unit found that proceeds of crime were channeled through accounts at the bank. And BJP releases the first list of 195 candidates for the Lok Sabha polls. Prime Minister Narendra Modi to contest from Varanasi for the 3rd time. Former Union Minister Harshvardhan quits politics a day after BJP denies him a Lok Sabha ticket. Bhojpuri actor Pawan Seng, who was on BJP's pick for West Bengal's Asansol seat, also opts out of the race. Amid escalating tensions, reports suggest that Israel has provisionally accepted a phased 6-week hostage and truce deal. Before the month of Ramadan, a Hamas delegation reaches Cairo for talks to broker a ceasefire in Gaza. Hey guys, good morning and welcome to Power Breakfast. I'm Pavitra Parekh. Those are the top headlines that we're tracking for you this morning as we come out of the weekend, but only one day of a market holiday really. The global cues this morning are definitely very positive. Whether you look at the US markets, the Asia, it's all green and well in the green at that. So for the Asian markets, you have Nikkei, which is clearly doing perhaps the best right now. It's up over 300 points. It has crossed the 40,200 mark as well right now. So holding up very well there. You have the Taiwanese index on your screen, which is the other big outperformer. Right now, it's seeing a gain of 1.7%, so 300 points higher on the Taiwanese markets as well. You also have some of the others, the likes of Kospi, Shanghai, which are managing to hold in the green. It's not too much higher, but Kospi, for instance, is around 40 points in the green as well. Seng, like you can see, is seeing a little bit of red right at the beginning, so around 0.2% lower on the Seng market, and Straits also just a little bit lower. The implied open for our own markets has actually come off a tad, very, very flat right now. But remember, we did hit another record high on the Saturday trading session, so maybe we'll see a day of consolidation, but the open is likely to be quite flat. We have, that's everything that we're looking at in terms of the Asian market action. But let's also run you through everything that we're tracking from the US. We had Wall Street, which ended higher on Friday. So the tech-heavy Nasdaq closed at an all-time high yet again. It has surpassed the 2021 record level as well. You had the S&P 500, which also did very well. It added 0.8%, and that closed above 5,100, like you can see. This is also for the first time that the S&P 500 has really crossed this level. And for the Dow, it was around 0.25% in terms of a gain, so 90 points higher. On a weekly basis, if you look at it, all of them also did quite well. So the Nasdaq added 1.7%. The S&P 500 was up almost 1%. And the Dow was the only one which is a little bit flat, just around down, or maybe it was absolutely flat actually to end the whole week. You had technology stocks which rose over 2% last week. So you had chip-making giant Nvidia, which was seen up 4% on Friday. The shares of Meta also jumped more than 2%. So once again, for the US, the gains are really being led by what's going on in the tech sector. But let's listen in to Austin Goolsbee, who's the Chicago Fed president, and he spoke about his views on the January inflation numbers that came through.
We're just going to have to keep watching the inflation. I wouldn't be surprised if we found out there was a lot of noise component in it. But if we get multiple more months, especially on the housing side, that's the thing that's really been weird. I mean, the goods inflation is back down to where it was pre-pandemic. Services inflation, which we always think is a little stickier, has actually come down over a longer run period. And the thing that we got to keep an eye on, because we don't fully understand why it hasn't dropped more, is the housing side.
All right, that is an important word coming in, but let's also bring you the final update in our global market wrap this morning. We have positive cues coming in from Europe as well. So the French CAC closed at the flat line, just some marginal gains, but the British FTSE gained around 52 points, like you can see. However, it was really the German DAX index which saw the big move come through. It was up 57 points, and it also hit a fresh record high. This is for Friday. If you look at the Pan-European Stock 600, that was up around 0.6% as well, hitting another all-time high and logging its 6th straight week of gains. So that, really sums up what went down across the indices in Europe. Inflation in the Eurozone region dropped to 2.6%. This is for the month of February. It is lower than the January figure of 2.8%. And the headline inflation figure came in just shy of expectations. So the expectations were 2.5%, and what we got was 2.6%. But the crucial core inflation figure, which is very important to track, that came in at 3.1%, missing expectations of 2.9%. Remember, this inflation print is really key because the ECB interest rate decision is due on Thursday. So ahead of that, it's important to track all of this inflation data. That's everything that we're looking at as far as the global markets go. But let's break it down for our own markets in terms of everything that you should track in terms of cues and all of the stocks as well. We have Mangalam, Sudarshan and Hormaz joining us with the trade setup. Guys, a very good morning to all of you. Hormaz, let me come to you first. We were just going through the global cues. Looks very, very supportive as we kick things off.
Absolutely, they look extremely supportive indeed, and it's not that we were doing badly without the global cues as well, but we've had a 450-point rally on the Nifty in just 3 trading sessions. It's been an extremely strong start to the March series. Saturday's session was a bit of a truncated session, so we won't take much of that into account as we go into this truncated week today. But when index heavyweights put their hand up, it is obvious that the market will do well, and Reliance, HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, the last two in particular have been underperformers, putting pressure on the index. They put their hand up, and 40% of the Nifty's rally on Friday came from these 3 stocks. And another positive for these 3 stocks was the fact that all 3 of them saw delivery buying in excess of 1,000 crore rupees on Friday. So with a positive follow-up may happen in today's session as well. The Nifty Bank, these two support, HDFC and ICICI both supported the Nifty Bank as well. But while the Nifty is making newer highs, the Nifty Bank is still around 3% away from its own record of 48,636. While the indices, the benchmark indices are doing well, there has been caution across the broader markets. Both the mid-cap and small-cap indices underperformed the Nifty on Friday, as well as on a weekly basis as well. On a weekly basis, the Nifty mid-cap index had its first weekly loss in 5 weeks. So there is some bit of caution in the broader markets after all the news flow that has happened around it. But watch out for the Nifty Realty Index in today's trading session. There are a slew of real estate stocks that are in focus because of news flow, and the PSU index as well as a lot of PSUs are also in the news in today's session. As you mentioned, very strong global cues. The Nasdaq was at a record high last week. The Nikkei this morning has now traded above the 40,000 mark for the first time ever. So extremely positive global cues, but also it's an event heavy week on a global perspective. Tomorrow all eyes will be on China as the National People's Congress, where the Chinese premier will lay out its its growth targets for the year, and there is also anticipation of some stimulus announcements as well. So we'll keep an eye out on all of these updates. For today, the GIFT Nifty is indicating a slightly flat start for our own markets. Back to you.
Okay, flat start at 22,400 doesn't look bad at all. Hormaz, thanks a lot for getting us all of those cues, but it's over to Sudarshan now, who's going to take us through all of the stocks that we should watch in today's trading session. Hi, Sudarshan.
Hi. Morning, Pavitra. So I'll start with NTPC. Board has approved investment of rupees 17,195 crore for Singrauli Super Thermal Power Project. Godrej Properties will be developing a township project in northern Bengaluru, and booking values estimated rupees 5,000 crore. Hero Moto has reported good set of sales for the month of February. Total sales were up 19% at 4.68 lakh units year on year, and exports were up significantly. It's up 91% to 23,153 units. Torrent Power gets letter of award worth rupees 440 crore from NTPC Vidyut Power Nigam, and it's for supply of power from gas-based power projects. Cipla US FDA has issued no observations for manufacturing unit of Chinese arm after the unit was inspected from February 25 to March 1. Welspun Corp will be setting up a manufacturing facility at Madhya Pradesh at an investment of rupees 400 crore. InfoEdge will be in focus. Most of its apps are back on Google Play Store. Patel Engineering JV has bagged order of rupees 525 crore, but company's share is rupees 268 crore. Dr. Lal, CEO Bharat U has resigned effective May 20, 2024. SJVN will be developing a 200 megawatt solar power project in Gujarat worth rupees 1100 crore. And Zagal order wins continue. Company has bagged 5-year contract from Axis Bank to provide foreign exchange services.
All right, so thanks a lot for filling us in with all of those details and all of that stock-specific action. Mangalam's also here to run us through all of the cues that we're really looking at from the futures and options space. Mangalam.
Well, good cues coming in indeed. 2 days of March so far. I'm talking about, one trading session and one semi-trading session, if you can call the Saturday session that. And the Nifty is up nearly 2% in those 2 trading sessions itself. So global cues doing well for us, and we're making the most of it. In fact, on Friday, the cash market action as well, both the FIs and the DIs bought in the cash market, though it was a smaller amount from the FIs. The fact that there was no selling was a big positive. But in the last 2 trading sessions, the FIs have sold a little more in index futures than they have bought, and as a result of which you can see nearly 4,500 long contracts being added, close to 6,900 short contracts being added. And if you look at their long exposure, no different from what it was from the start of the series. So the Nifty is 2% higher. The FI long position is still 35% and shorts are still 65%. Why is that? It's because they are buying the Nifty and they're selling the Nifty Bank at the same time. So that is one pair trade that we need to keep an eye out on, whether the Nifty Bank goes ahead and outperforms, or even if it moves in line with the Nifty or not from here on itself. For the Nifty itself, the street is expecting a bit of a range. What is that range? 22,400 calls are extremely active for a premium of 150 rupees, telling you levels between 22,500 to 22,550 may face some sort of resistance. At the lower level, however, 22,100 is an important support, and that's denoted by the kind of put writing we've seen at the 22,200 mark itself. And below that, we will of course have the 20-day moving average, which comes in as a strong support on the Nifty itself, 22,032. For the Nifty Bank, the same number is the 50-day moving average, which is 46,650. So that's a strong support to watch out for as well. Among all the stocks that we're watching out for today, the one that I'm looking out for is Z in particular, because on day 1 of the series itself, that stock has entered F&O ban.
All right, Mangalam, thanks a lot for running us through all of the cues. That is the trade setup as we see it this morning. We need to get into a short break here. But on the other side, the Financial Intelligence Unit of India has imposed a penalty on Paytm Payments Bank for violation of norms. We'll bring you all of the details on the other side. Pull up. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast, and let's now bring you the latest on Paytm Payments Bank. The Financial Intelligence Unit of India has imposed a penalty on the bank for violation of norms under the Prevention of Money Laundering Act. So Ritu is here to tell us more about this. Ritu.
The government's Financial Intelligence Unit has imposed a penalty of 5.49 crores on Paytm Payments Bank for violations of its obligations under the Prevention of Money Laundering rules, that is, violation in reporting illegal money that was routed through its accounts. Now, the Financial Intelligence Unit said that it had initiated a review of Paytm Payments Bank on the basis of information that it received from law enforcement agencies relating to a few entities and their network of businesses that were engaged in a number of illegal activities, including organizing and facilitating online gambling. Now, FIU found that the money generated from these illegal operations, that is, proceeds of the crime, were routed and channeled through bank accounts which were maintained by these entities with Paytm Payments Bank. Now, remember, we reported previously that one of the big reasons for RBI's action against Paytm Payment Bank was linked to concerns around weak KYC, where a large number of dormant accounts were found, instances of single PAN cards being linked to more than 1,000 accounts, etc., leading to concerns on anti-money laundering violations. Now, Paytm Payment Bank in a statement said that the penalty pertains to issues within a business segment that was discontinued 2 years ago, and that following that period, the bank has enhanced its monitoring systems and reporting mechanisms to the Financial Intelligence Unit.
All right, Ritu, thanks a lot for taking us through all of those details. That is on Paytm Payments Bank. But with that, we're going to get into a short break now. There's lots more action that we're tracking, and we'll get you all of the cues from the commodity space also on the other side. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Power Breakfast. Let's get a check on what's really going on across the commodities. We have Manisha joining us with an update. Manisha, good morning. Whether it's crude, whether it's gold, whether it's cryptos, all seems to be heading higher.
Oh, absolutely, Pavitra. But I'll start with crude, where we are trading at a 4-month highs right now. And this is after the expected statement coming in from the OPEC and allies that they will extend voluntary production cuts till the end of June. We also are looking at added voluntary cuts coming in from Saudi Arabia. Russia has added some more number as well. And remember, Russia also has a 6-month ban on gasoline exports starting from 1st of March. The markets also are looking at a stronger demand outlook for 2024. And the main thing is that you have various Wall Street banks now saying that they are expecting higher crude oil prices in this the second quarter of 2024. So JP Morgan is talking about 83, Bank of America 95, Stancy is talking about $94 a barrel as an average price for the second quarter of this year. So there is some buying interest that we've seen return. Gold is also trading at a 1-month high, $2,080 an ounce. It still is some far away from its all-time high of $2,135 is what it hit in December. But the way we've seen a decline in U.S. manufacturing, inflation data, decline in dollar, all of that really seems to be supporting the gold and the metal prices at this point in time.
Okay, Manisha, thanks a lot for filling us in with all of that action. With that, we're completely out of time on this edition of Power Breakfast. But before we let you go, we'll leave you with some visuals from the last day of Anant Ambani and Radhika Merchant's pre-wedding celebrations in Jamnagar. Thank you for watching.